And we are live again.
Yes.
What the hell is happening?
Have no fucking idea. I went actually as a continuation from what happened in the morning. I went to the doctor, got antibiotics injected into my ass.
What the
Then I go, then I go home because I'm fucked up. Turns out I have an infection, a
nice.
throat infection. Yeah. Then I go home, I eat tamales, and then I go to sleep. Then I wake up because it's cold as fuck over there, and then I come back here and then John Joe's popped test positive again. Again, like
For
a
the same
week
thing.
for the same thing. And then they're telling me that, oh, it turns out that it is like trace amounts from the last time he took it.
That's
I'm
the
like, mother,
supposedly.
yeah, okay. I'm going I'm going to say that I am not an expert in this at all. And I'm just coming at this from a layman's perspective. But that shit sounds suspicious as fuck.
Oh, of course it sounds suspicious. So I looked it up. The half life for Turinabol, I think it's Turinabol, is 16 hours. So they're claiming that it is trace amounts from the previous um, test, which they claimed was like a drop in a swimming pool.
Yeah, a pinch of salt dropped in an Olympic swimming pool. That was the terminology that they started using.
What'd you say? I couldn't really hear you.
A pinch of salt dropped in an Olympic swimming pool.
Yeah.
That's what they said.
So if we just keep dividing that every 16 hours, that's what they're claiming.
That's fucking insane.
Yeah. Yeah.
It,
Uh,
it, it, it No, and this like unravels a bit of the UFC incentive structure as far as their company is concerned, because 1 week into the out of the event, I'm sorry, 1 week out, and immediately they dropped everything so that they could have a headlining pay-per-view. You
right.
know what I'm saying? Like all the moving parts related to having an event at a venue just got completely reshuffled, right?
Yeah.
In favor of having that headlining main event. It's crazy to think that we're there. What this tells me is that there's going to be a point where they can just do it all in the basement somewhere, and they're going to be fine with that.
Much. I mean, they could have just gone to Texas if Callie said no.
Yeah,
Um, but just so we're like, again, full disclosure, none of us are experts on this. Neither of us are experts. We don't know what the fuck we're talking about. We're just trying to think about this. Like, eventually, you just have to say, like, you know, you have had way too many chances. You're not a clean fighter. Period. End of story.
yeah,
Like you're just like John Jones is not a clean fighter. I don't. It's nice that Dana White says he believes that John is clean, but I don't
yeah.
believe what Dana White says because Dana White also says a lot of things that end up not being true because he
He
doesn't
also said
respond.
that he also said that John Jones would never headline a UFC event ever again.
And now they're literally moving a card 6 days before the event in order to make sure that he headlines that event. So take Dana White at his word. Like, so there's also the fact that fighters didn't find out about it through the UFC. Megan Anderson, for example, tweeted about it.
Megan.
Megan Anderson had found out on the internet, so I'm guessing Twitter.
And Goose found out after he got off a helicopter ride.
Exactly. So we don't even know how many hours after they already moved it that he found out. I tweeted about this from the account, but this is absolutely absurd, and the fighters should boycott the event. Granted, they're not going to because
No,
unfortunately they fight paycheck to fight paycheck. They don't have a choice but to fight. Gustafsson could probably protest and be
mhm.
fine. But
Everyone actually, because this is a breach of contract.
oh, for sure, there's no well. Actually, the UFC contracts are fucked up, so we don't know what they are.
No, but it's not like I think they actually have to agree to a venue. Like it's part of not normal contract language. I think if not, somebody can correct me, but I think that they don't tell you like that you don't never sign a piece of paper that says I will fight at open parentheses undisclosed location. Like that never happens.
Oh, of course not. The question is whether they can also write in there whether that it's subject to change.
Well, perhaps. Well, we're going to see, but this kind of leads us into this is a segue to our talking about a union, because like a union would have saved everyone a lot of grief here, because the fighters could seem to have had something in there forced by a union that said you cannot change the venue 1 week out of the fight. You just cannot do it. It's insane. Like it fucks. Yeah, it fucks with everyone's training camps. Like if the event comes in and these people are fucked up and you see a lot of people missing weight, it's because of this. Like that's a race that no, they are having to take it on their shoulders.
And if you with a second that if 5 or 6 fighters miss weight, if you think they're gonna be compensated,
they won't.
You're fucking crazy. The UFC ain't gonna do shit, and the California State Athletic Commission is absolutely gonna fine them as well. They're not gonna waive the fee. They're not gonna do any of that shit because their argument is be like, "Well, your opponent made weight or whatever." So,
they said that they moved this because he wouldn't be licensed.
He wasn't. Nevada wouldn't license him.
By Nevada. So it's like, what the fuck, man? And also, like, let's look at it from which I know it's not going to be a popular take on this, but let's look at it from John Jones' point of view. Let's assume that, yes, this is insane. Yes, this happened out of nowhere. Someone is out to get him. Like, if this guy is, like, now I believe him, you know? But I'm saying, like, if someone was trying to get John Jones, this is how they get John Jones, okay? And assuming that is true, which, you know, you don't have to, right? Because it's insane. It's an insane scenario. But assuming that is true, like, you can have some actual, you know, leeway if you have a union so that you don't get drug tested and fucked in the ass.
Pretty much.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
like, not it's the same way.
As a conspiracy theorist, I do think DC might be behind all of this, but no, like, this is bullshit. I don't. The UFC is gonna bend over backwards for this because, again, the WME needs to pay back the amount of money that they borrowed to purchase the UFC.
They don't. They can just live off the debt forever. Like they can work their books in such a way that they are always in debt. They just keep pushing it off and pushing it off and pushing it off. There is no incentive whatsoever to ever pay that debt.
I think they'd rather not be in debt.
No, but I mean, it's how they operate. A lot of businesses work that way.
Maybe, but I think, again, you know, when you pay $4 billion for something, you kind of want to make some money off of that investment.
And they are making money. I mean, they are making. I mean, the shareholders are making money. You know, by getting this. So it's the shareholders that are fine. They're going to make money. The UFC can't tank, even if these people are making money.
Oh, the UFC is going to tank if this keeps going.
Like, it's fucking insane. Also, I'm just thinking, like, just 3 days ago, like a week ago or something, John Jones was talking shit to DC, to Daniel Cormier on the internet.
Dude, he's talking shit right now.
Right now?
Yeah. DC responded to the news, and John, like, messaged him saying, like, if I slapped your wife's ass, like, you wouldn't do shit. Like it's fucking ridiculous. I don't know.
He's a grown man. Is he like 30 years old? Isn't he?
30, yeah, he's in his 30s already.
Wow. This is insane, but because it already sets the tone for how these people are going to be talked about. After, like, their legacy, John is going to be the fuck up, and DC is the guy that beat him without ever winning a fight. Like, think about that. He's the guy that beat John Jones without ever beating him in a fight.
I mean, he's never.
And now he's sending him text messages like, oh my God, this is insane. This is ridiculous. Like, do other sports do this? Like, I don't follow other sports, so I don't know. But how many other like the highest level of organization in a sport? Like, do you see this in the NFL?
What you say?
Do you see kind of insanity of other sports like NFL, MLB, or whatever? Like,
well, they have unions or associations, so probably not. Like, I don't know, man. This is absurd. It is upsetting, and I really hope that this might be the catalyst for a union. That'd be phenomenal.
I don't know if it'll be a catalyst for a union, but it kind of exhibits the limitations of the current model, even for the UFC.
Found
like,
it. Found it.
Oh no.
Ariel Helwani. Meanwhile, this exchange just happened on Daniel Cormier's Instagram account after he posted about tonight's news. Johnny Bones, I could slap your wife on the ass and you could literally do nothing about it. You're my bitch, DC. That will never change. Funny how you're giving me 2 posts but said nothing when I asked you to come get your belt back. Sad crying face or whatever. He responds with, you couldn't do shit, you steroid abusing junkie. I swear I would never touch your wife's flat ass. And I didn't respond. I'm not helping you sell your bum ass fight, you drug abusing steroid treat. Fuck you.
I shouldn't laugh about it.
10-8 DC.
They're like children.
Dude, so somebody links their conversation with John Jones in the as the first response. Some dude named Jacob Brunson. John blocked me the other day. Wonder why, ... So John was tweeting, fight me one more time and prove you're actually the champ. I'll donate $100,000 to a charity in San Diego if you accept. Conor McGregor was an actual double champ. The whole world knows your claim is a freaking joke. You're more than welcome to be my first title defense. He didn't even tag DC. He just wrote it. So this guy Jacob responds with, you got to get past at USA anti-doping first. Talk after you've been cleared of all tests. Besides the 11 times you've been tested this year, at DC MMA has been around all this time while you've been sitting on the sidelines. Earn some trust first. So John fucking DM'd this dude and wrote, love your fans getting all emotional. I would imagine you have high cholesterol. Nope. All my triglycerides and cholesterol is good, man. Thanks for your concern. How many drinks have you had, John? And then it says John Jones blocked you.
No, look, there's another one. Like, it's from today at 6:36 p.m. and this is crazy what he tweeted. I am focused on achieving my ultimate goal of reclaiming my light heavyweight title. I have willingly submitted to every USADA test in the lead up to this fight, and USADA has confirmed what I have been saying all along. You just failed the test, dude. That I am a clean athlete. No, you're not. I sincerely thank the California State Athletic Commission, blah, blah, blah. And the first thing I saw here, the answer was, well, first is the character from the Chappelle Show.
Yeah.
Do you remember him? Like that guy with the red cap. And then the classic guy that says, why you always lying?
Oh my God, dude. Okay, fine. Okay. Hold on. DC, this is what by the way, I found what John responded with that I could slap your wife ass thing. So this is what DC put out. USADA equals joke. Jeff Nowitzki equals joke. Andy Foster equals joke. A pinch of Turinabol in an Olympic-sized swimming pool from 2017 that stays in your system for 18 months equals joke. NACC, you're cool.
No, that ship has sailed. Like, the narrative for this guy going forward is going to be this. Like, John Jones is a guy that could do it, but could stay out of his own way to actually make it mean something. And DC is going to be like this hardworking guy that had life thrown at him, and he was knocked down, but got back up, and he figured out a way of coming out on top. Like, it's the turtle and the hare all over again. You know what I'm saying?
What'd you say?
That it is the turtle and the hare all over again.
Yep. And Ariel tweeted, I've talked to multiple UFC 232 fighters and or their reps. Every single one said they found out about the location change via Twitter or some other form of social media. Every single one.
Wow.
So the only guy they told was John Jones.
Wow. That's bush league. That's so bush league.
Yeah. Fuck the UFC. Like, fuck the UFC.
Yeah. Well, don't say that out loud, because if these guys go away and Bellator goes away, we have Ahmad fights.
Nah, everyone can go to one. They can. Why is Bellator going anywhere?
Well, the way that the reports of Karim Zidane make it seem is that these guys are consolidating a very, very substantial push into the MMA world for 2019.
Right. They'll buy
So,
out Bellator. I don't think they're gonna be able to buy a company, dude.
well, it depends. Well, if the UFC does something so stupid that there's like this massive influx of fighters, man, maybe they couldn't, you know, especially if they have like a good women's MMA fighter, like if she would go to Bellator. I mean, like a roster, right? They would likely end up either in Bellator or in one. But yeah, we're getting apocalyptic here. Like, I don't know. I mean, this is bad. Like, this looks bad. This makes your company look bad.
I gotta inject a little bit of humor into this. I don't know. Some dude tweeted, Alexander Gustafsson. Ah, what an amazing helicopter ride. The Grand Canyon was beautiful. I don't think anything on earth could ruin this day. Oh, what's this? I've got some notifications on my phone. Fantastic. That's really, really funny.
Yeah, MMA must be the most cartoony sport out there. Like, this shit has to be. It's like wrestling, but all the drama happens outside. And it isn't manufactured.
It's amazing that, yeah. I mean, I think everyone could tell from this discussion that we're pissed, confused, and we feel terrible for the fighters. And
Are you flabbergasted?
I really hope they unionize. There's really not much else to say,
They,
honestly.
what else are they gonna do? Like they have, if anything, this exhibits that they have no power over anything. Like they can literally change the venue of their fight, like less than a week before the event, and I wouldn't be surprised at all if they made them pay made themselves pay to get to where they have to get. You know what I'm saying? Like, do you remember when Leslie Smith said that they wanted to make her pay for her own luggage?
No, I did not know that.
Yeah, she said that they wanted to make her pay for her own luggage. And she even went so far as to having to call people. And they said that once they found out, they took care of it. But their initial intent was to have her pay for her own luggage. Wait, someone is knocking on the door. Wait.
Well, I guess we're waiting. But I guess instead of leaving a bunch of dead air, what I can do is talk myself. Really, what needs to happen is the UFC fighters need to unionize. There's nothing else to say. This shit wouldn't go down with the union. The fact that the UFC has this much power control is absurd, and we're gonna keep seeing shit like this happen if we don't, support these fighters, and get them the status they need, which is that of an employee with a full-blown union who will have representation that can actually fight management when they basically, fuck over fighters like this. This is just it's kind of like once the shock is wearing off, now it's just anger because this is absurd. It's just, yeah. I don't really know what else to say. And I don't know how it's going to work either because the UFC fighters are way too afraid to unionize because they know that they're not able to. Most of the roster is expendable, and what are you going to do?
Yeah, the last thing you mentioned is very true. Most of the roster is expendable. It kind of echoes something that Patrick Wyman wrote once for, I think it was Deadspin. And he also mentioned in a podcast a long time ago when he was still involved in MMA actively. And he said that the UFC has made it, they have become very good at putting forth a product where you see a bunch of anonymous violence, right? There is no narrative associated with it. It's just higher and higher and higher level of anonymous violence. And the problem with that is that you have a bunch of people, all that are very good athletes, but with no narrative about them, around them. And if you have no narrative to follow them, you're indistinguishable from one another. And if they're indistinguishable from one another, they're expendable, pretty much.
Yeah.
What a downer.
Yeah.
Fucking MMA, man. At least we still have Rising to look forward at the end of the year.
What'd you say?
At least we still have Rising to look forward at the end of the year. Gabby Garcia is going to fight someone.
Yeah, that's going to happen.
Intention is fighting Floyd Mayweather.
He's having an exhibition, and he said he wants to kick him.
Yeah, but I'm going to say something funny about that. Like, there's something funny that they don't quite understand what they're getting themselves into in that thing, because for Floyd, that's 3 rounds, right? 9 minutes total.
I guess.
Tension is accustomed to fighting 9 minutes.
Right.
That's all that he does. He might do just a tad better than most people are giving him credit for, because he knows. Huh?
Boxing, right?
Yeah. Just by virtue of being young and knowing how to pace the entirety of his output for 9 minutes. So it's good to be
in a kickboxing match against other
kickboxers. I know.
Not in a boxing match against the most.
Who is old and eroded and has pillow fists. So I'm not saying that he's going to win, quote unquote, win, because there will be no result in the end. I'm just saying that it might be funny to watch. Like the way you see some exhibitions that are ridiculous and you just watch them. Think of it like celebrity boxing, but very high level. Right?
Yeah. I mean, I think everyone's going to be surprised when tension does nothing.
That's probably going to, in the end, that's probably going to be what's going to happen. Anyways, yeah, fucking A, man. Fucking A.
Yeah. I'm sad. I'm angry.
Yeah.
And I'm now arguing with someone on Twitter that when I just tweeted about a union, and he's like, what would a fighters union have done in this situation?
What a fucking moron, with all due respect. Respectfully.
No, get into it. No, don't be respectful. It's Derek. It's Derek. Not our Derek. It's Derek Subo.
Derek Subotiki?
Yeah.
That's a dumb man. That's a fucking dumb shit thing to say.
Yep.
Because a union would give you leverage so that bullshit like this doesn't happen. That when you get moved with like when you have no recourse and you have to answer this thing, there are already protocols in place because you already pre-negotiated them. A union would have gotten you laxer drug testing. You could have had a huge list of substances that you could have told USADA, you know what, we are okay with none of these things being tested for. Like a union would have allowed for this event to proceed as is, as it was more than likely. It's so fucking dumb and short-sighted to say, no, a union would have done nothing in this case. Like, what the fuck? It's so ridiculous, man. Like, people have this idea about unions, like they are this magical thing, like this evil thing, and this has more to do with the way politics have been handled in the United States more than anywhere else. Like that is like an explicitly United States thing, the way that people refer to unions. And it's weird, like even here, like you see that bullshit even here. Like, no, dumbass, like a union would have helped. Assuming it wouldn't be like a mess, like some shit that doesn't even work, assuming that it worked even just barely, it would have given these people an opportunity to just get properly compensated, even in the case that somebody missed weight. That's so fucking stupid. That is so fucking stupid. Anyway, what was your reply to that?
He says that doesn't answer my question. I'm all for a fighters union, but I really don't see what kind of CBA would have stopped this from being a clusterfuck.
That's not the problem. Like, it can be a clusterfuck, but you can have protocols to deal with this exact same kind of thing. Like, it's not like it hasn't happened before. Like, whole events have been scrapped before. Like, we just got done scrapping an event. Also, John Jones, you remember the other event where John Jones was supposed to fight Dan Henderson? And then Dan Henderson got injured or something, and then John Jones pulled out?
Yes.
Yeah, that like, it's so fucking asinine and sure, and like that's like fish memory. Like, you just fucking forget. The next second something happened, but this has happened before. This isn't a new thing. Like, you cannot go into these kinds of events and assume that, like, this isn't team sports. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is not team sports. You have people here, and you're backing the whole of your promotional potential revenue at the end of the event on whether some people shows up or not. And it has happened time and time again that people have not shown up, or that some shit gets in the middle, or some event gets scrapped at the last moment. Like, this isn't new. Like, this was easily conceivable.
I don't
So
know
that,
what to say. Like, I'm just blown away.
no, it's asinine. It's asinine. Like, to say that a union wouldn't have helped. Okay, like, if the union was shit, like, I have, like, here in Mexico, we have had shit unions, like legit shit unions. There was something called SNTE that was like it's the acronym name is in Spanish, Secretaría Nacional de Trabajadores de la Educación, like National Secretary for Education Workers. And it was bullshit. Like, there are like 2 or 3 unions now, I think, at least 2, but because it was so shitty for the longest time, that thing was a clusterfuck. Like, it didn't work. It was more about giving people money so that they could make you make favors for you.
Yeah, dude. Corey Anderson just tweeted. He said, if we all said no, we won't travel again, would they just take Jones off the card and keep it in Vegas, or book 11 new fights, continue to move to LA, and keep the main event the same? A lot of money has been spent in travel fees from my family to be in Vegas for this fight. I'm not even mad. I'm just disappointed in the company. I bust my ass for every day, make sure my piss and blood is clean every day, and represent myself like a professional every day for. Just so clowns who sell a lot of tickets and make a lot of money could fuck up every day and still get a pat on the back and told, don't worry, it's not your fault. Because at the end of the day, they sell. I'm also currently on my 5-hour flight to Vegas with my wife, who is 7 months pregnant, on the border of not being able to travel, and spent an hour and a half walking through the Newark shit show of an airport. Now we have to land and get our shit, figure out what's next, load up, and hassle through the airport and travel again. The law says drive sober or get pulled over. The UFC should be pissed clean or hit the streets, even if you make loads of money. But again, I'm not pissed. I'm just highly disappointed.
Well, yeah, I'm just right there. Like, that's a very, very good take on this. Yeah, I mean, Project here, Spearhead, motherfuckers, sign your cards. Like, these people do not have your best interests in mind. Sign your fucking Project Spearhead cards. But, you know, I don't know what else to say other than that. Like, it's like they're dime pickers. You know what I'm saying? Like, dime picker. Like, they see $100 million, no, $100 million, $100 bill, and they see a penny or a dime or whatever, and they're going to go for the fucking coin every time. Every fucking time. And like, the only thing that I can compare these guys to, it's video game developers, or maybe comic book writers or something. Like, people that whose entire industry is built on this, like, for external contractor model. Like, they're not employees, they're easily replaceable, as you said. So, I mean, what I don't understand I kind of understand, like, but it has to be a more complex incentive for them. Like, at the end of the day, was to live in capitalism, right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, well, this is capitalism. You have to make the most money for yourself and your family or whatever. And if you don't unionize,
this guy is a fucking idiot. Derek, you're smarter than this. Like, I know you. You should know better than this. This is what he responds with. This is an absolutely unprecedented situation. It's something that can come up when they eventually do, but I don't think anyone would have planned for something like this. A 151 cancellation.
That's bullshit.
That's not the fucking point either.
No, also,
the fighters aren't getting screwed. You like, what are you talking about?
It's fucking stupid. Like, this has happened before, you dork. This has happened before. This isn't new shit. Like, the reason why this event could potentially, quote unquote, potentially be scrapped is new, but something like this happened isn't new. It has fucking happened already. It has happened. Like, this idea that, who could have seen it coming? Every fucking one, especially if you have millions of dollars riding on this thing. See, that's kind of the problem, because you are comparing like the shareholders and owners, like the promoting side, they are all quote unquote unionized. They always present a unified front of interest, be it in negotiation or in the way in which they can impact the people that they're paying. It's the people that are getting paid, the people that are doing the actual work so that this thing can happen in the first place. As far as the product that you are selling, these are the people that are not bargaining collectively. Like, they have no unified front, so they're fucked. Like, this is going to keep happening to them. And again, this shit was known. This isn't new. This has happened before, you dork. So, I mean, fucking donks. What else can you tell these people? Like, did they just forgot like the whole history of the sport? What the fuck this thing is riding on? Like, you are literally commenting on a sport where the biggest promotion, the most prolific promotion, at some point had numbered events in the decimals. Do you remember UFC 33.5?
Yeah, no, I do not remember it, but
like, that's some bullshit, man. Like, it's ridiculous. It's asinine. Like, this shit is known. This is known. Like, how they have no protocols for this is beyond belief for me. That, like, this event is going to take a hit. John Jones is going to take a hit, unfortunately for him. Like, nobody comes out of this properly. Also, like, can we just mention how disastrous it'll be if John wins? Or if he loses? Like, if he wins, he's gonna get shit, because his people are gonna call him a junkie, a cheater.
Junkie is not really important, but
no. I'm talking about the narrative. Right? Like, they're going to debate
a drug cheat, not a junkie.
No, I know, but DC threw this thing in there, and now, like, every time you see the conversation, like, there's somebody that wants to belittle what he has done, and they throw junkie in there, even though it has no correspondence with reality, right? But they just throw it in there. I'm talking about like the generalized narrative, like how people see these things. But if he loses, this dude is buried. Like, what is he gonna do then? Like, suddenly the stakes were like super high, like we said in the podcast, like a very like high stakes fight between two compromised people to use these monster stakes. Because if John Jones loses, like, that's the credibility of his career. Like, everything gets fixed when you win, like, no matter how, by hook or by crook. But the weight of the narrative, like, it puts a very, like, a fortunate bit of odds into this whole proceeding. Like, shit. What else can you?
I think with that we should just fucking that's it. Like, I've had enough. Like,
yeah.
Pissed.
Yeah.
All right. Well, enjoy the bonus episode, everyone. This was fun. And
yeah, it's frustrating.
Have a great night.
Yeah, don't believe the dipshit saying that nobody could have seen this coming. This has happened a million times, and it will happen again.
Yep.
Laters.
Later.